Hello, my name is David Morgan with TechSquadOnline.com, and here I'm to talk about why content is king. Content is very important because it's going to sell your product. It's going to share with us who you are and what you provide and what your offers are, because these are the three things that we need to know. Obviously we don't. Because sometimes the URL is not enough to help us understand who you are, because sometimes it might mean that, well, I don't know who these people are, but we'll click on it to see if these are the ones I'm looking for, because some of the times maybe the URL is about abbreviations, online.com or something like that, abc.com. Well, who's these people? Let's check them out, and so then we got to get that first question answered. Who are you? And then what do you do? And what are some of your offers? Okay? And how you present that information is going to be important. Now, if this is on the front page or if it's on one of your internal pages, that's besides the point. These are information. This is knowledge that we need to know before we make our call, before we do our business, right? And at the same token, less can be more, meaning that we don't need to read an ebook on the front page of your website once we get there, just so you can tell us who you are, just to tell us what you do, and then tell us what you offer. You can still just take some of that chunk of information and highlight some important pieces that you think we ought to know. Okay, that are saying, okay, I really want them to know that I cut grass, I want them to know that I do landscaping, and I want them to know that I clean gutters. Okay, these are three things that we need to know. Now what are the offers? How much do you charge for these things? And then we can drill down into the rest of your website, because you got more pages to work with, right? And at the same token, you don't have to use just text, right? You can use pictures, you can use videos to help tell us who you are, what you're about. And now at the same time, this is kind of tricky, because we know that search engines don't see pictures, and we know they don't watch videos, right? Because they just don't see that stuff. And so we got to figure out another way to make sure that the search engines know exactly what the web page is all about, which is what the meta description is for, if all else fails. Now, the thing is, well, what I mean by pictures and so forth is something like this. If you were going to purchase a car, and you were doing your shopping online, right? And let's say you did a car search, you say, well, I don't want to pay no more than $5,000. That's the limit. Well, you got one website that showed you a Chevy with 5 pictures, and then you got another website that showed you a Ford with 40 pictures, and so basically the Chevy over here, which is $5,000, versus the Ford over here. Well, the Chevy is going to have what your angles from all from all around the car, and then maybe a picture from the driver's point of view, right? Or a picture of the dashboard. Whereas the picture that's of the Ford, they got 40 pictures. They got, well, this is what it looks like on the passenger side, the driver's side, the back side, the front side, from this angle, from that angle, from the engine to the trunk to everything else, and you're absorbing all that information to the point where you recognize that they're trying to give you the information of the car through the pictures as best as they possibly can, as if you were there, right? And so your experience is now enveloped in this here particular Ford, simply because now you have a little bit more information, not just a little bit more, but you got a lot more information than you did, and so you're most likely to go with this car simply because now you know what it has, its features, what it looks like, its color, what the trunk looks like, and things of that nature. You look at the engine and it says, oh yeah, it's a pretty clean engine, things of that nature. And so with all this information, you can add up to pretty quickly, okay, yeah, this guy's going to get my business, and so you head on over there and get it. And so Not the same token, if your business has nothing to do with cars or anything like that, then don't worry about that type of stuff. I mean, you could do a few pictures and still say a lot, right? But just make sure that you keep your content simple, keep your content quality, or make sure it's very good quality, is what I need to say. And but keep up the good work, because the fact that search engines are searching through you first before it gets to us, that is important. I must point that out, because I know we need to address our websites to appeal to the human factor, but at the same token, we still need to appeal to the Google, Yahoo, and Bing factor, because we got to treat those guys as if they're a person, okay? And because those are the ones that's going to see your website before me or anybody else do. And I hope you guys found this helpful. Head on over to my website, check out some more of the videos and the blogs and so forth. Check out some of my services as well. And see you guys next time.